Good morning, everyone. This is Mrs. Davies, and today I'm joined by Bebe. Bebe is a yellow chevroned parakeet, and she's from South America. She just pooped on me. That's lovely. She is Soren's pet bird, and we've had her for about a week and a half, and she's still getting used to us, so she does bite us. And we're working with her, but she's a pretty sweet little girl. So that's Bebe. I'm going to put her right here while I read. I'm going to read 2 chapters today from By Pond and River by Arabella Buckley. The first one is chapter 3, The Dragonfly and His Companions. Every country boy or girl who wants to learn about water animals should make a pond net. You have only to get a willow twig and bind it into a hoop with string. Then make a muslin bag and sew a small stone into the bottom of it, and sew the mouth of the bag onto the hoop. Get a stick out of the hedge and fasten it to a long piece of string. Split the string near the end and tie it to the 2 sides of the hoop. Then you have a net which you can let down and fish up animals from the bottom of the pond. You had better have a wide-mouthed bottle as well, in which you can put what you catch. I know a shady pond just outside a farmyard at the turn of a lane. There, on a bright sunny day, the insects are often very busy. Bebe, you're so noisy. Do you want a little bite of banana? Want some banana? She's probably never had banana. How about this? Want a little bite? There we go. Maybe that'll keep you happy. In one corner of the pond, the little whirligig beetles are swimming round and round, making circles in the water. Their shining black backs look almost green in the sun. Every now and then one jumps up to catch a fly in the air, or another dives down to eat a grub. Drop your net into the water and bring it up quickly under our little beetle, and put him in the bottle so you can see him. You will think that he has 4 eyes, for each of his 2 eyes is divided. 1/2 looks up into the air, and 1/2 looks down into the water. So, as he whirls about, he can see the flies in the air and the grubs in the water. Gnats are flitting to and fro over the pond, and there is quite a crowd of those large flies with gauze wings, which we call mayflies. And now a more splendid fly, 3 inches long with 4 big gauze wings, rises out of the bulrushes and flies over the pond. All boys and girls know the dragonfly. His lovely wings are covered with crossbars filled with air, and they glitter in the sunshine with red, blue, and green colors. He has a long tail and a thick body with 6 legs, and a round head with huge eyes. She's being a good girl. Each eye has more than 10,000 tiny windows in it, so that he can see up and down, right and left as he darts about, killing the butterflies and moths that come in his way. Then he settles down on a plant or bush by the waterside and rests till he starts off again across the pond. If you go often in April to a pond where dragonflies are, you might perhaps see one begin its life in the air. This is how it happens. Under the water, a large insect crawls up the stem of a plant. He has a body as big as a dragonfly and has 6 legs. But he has a curious, dull look in his face, and where his wings should be are only 2 short stumps. He crawls very slowly up the stem till he comes out of the water. Then a strange thing happens. The skin of his back cracks, and out creeps a real dragonfly. First his head, then his body with his 6 legs and 4 soft crumpled wings, and lastly his tail. He cannot fly yet. He stands by his old empty skin and slowly stretches out his wings to the sun. In a few hours they are long and strong and hard. Then he is ready to fly over the pond and feed. This is how the dragonfly comes up into the air. You will not find him so easily under the water, But we will try next week with our net. Well, we found lots of these. At our pond, we have seen so much at the top of the pond today that we have not had time to dredge in the mud. Chapter 3, Down Below. Today we will use our net, hold the stick tight, and throw the net out onto the pond as a fisherman throws a fly. Then the stone will sink the net slowly. If now you pull it gently through the mud and water plants, you are sure to get something. She's eating my hair. Bring the net to land and lower it on the grass, and put all you find into the clear water in the bottle. You may find a little fish or some tadpoles or water snails. Or there may be one of the curious creatures which I showed you before. I'm sure you would not think this was a grub of a dragonfly, but it is. It is a long insect, all joints with 6 legs and eyes something like those of a dragonfly. It has no wings, but a curious kind of arm, with pincers at the end, coming out from under its chin. This is really part of its upper lip. It is called a mask, and has a hinge so that it can be folded back under its chin. Now, when the grub wants food, he waits quietly in the mud till a beetle or a water bug passes by. Then he throws out his mask and catches his prey with his pincers. Look next at the end of its tail. Sometimes it is pointed, sometimes it's open like the leaves of a flower. When it is open, the grub draws water in and uses the air in it to breathe. Then it shoots the water out and so pushes itself across the pond. This dragonfly grub lives at the bottom of the pond for 2 years, so you ought to catch one sometime if you try. It changes its skin many times and grows some wing stumps. Then it creeps up a stem, as we saw in the last lesson, and becomes a dragonfly. And now, what is this in our net? At first, you may think it is only a bit of a stick or a piece of mud with little stones in it, or a number of bits of grass matted together. And so it is, but there is something alive inside. If you look carefully, you can see the head of an insect sticking out with its 6 legs behind it. This is a soft little creature called a caddisworm. If you clear off the pieces of grass or stick or small stones or shells, you will find the soft grub inside. It has 6 legs and a number of little tufts under its body. It breathes with these tufts, just as the tadpole does with its tufts. Here's a picture of the caddisfly, both in its shell with sticks and rocks and as a larva, and then the adult. Are you talking to me? You may often see caddisworms creeping along the bottoms of brooks, looking like tiny moving bundles of sticks or stones. You may pick them up without using a net. They build these cases round themselves to try to protect their soft bodies, which the fish like to eat. By and by, they will turn into little yellow-brown flies. Like moths, they rise and fall in the air over the water in the evening. We did not see them with the mayflies and gnats because they do not like the sunshine. You will very likely fish out a good many little water grubs in your nets. But you must look carefully, for they are very small. Some have tufts all along their sides. These are the grubs of gnats and mayflies you saw flying over the pond. They all live some time in the water, and when they come out into the air, they do not live more than a few hours. It's amazing. Thank you, Bebe, for being such a good girl or boy. We don't know if it's a girl or boy. Okay, I'll see you next week, guys. I hope you have a great week.